All right, we are live. All right, so we're going to give everyone a few minutes to hop in here, and we got a very important interview to take a look at here. And I figured instead of doing a video on it, I'd like to come in here and just do a live stream on it. I think that would be best. So we're going to give everything a couple minutes for everyone to hop in here. Hopefully we get some people here shortly. Okay, and it is showing me live. Perfect. All right, here we go. Got some people here on the chat right now, so thank you all for joining. All right. So what's up, my meta millionaires? Make sure you leave me a comment. Let me know how the audio sounds and all that good stuff. Welcome, Randy, to the live stream. Appreciate you, brother. All right. Does the audio sound good? Picture quality look good? Looks like it's pretty good from what I'm looking at here on my phone. Randy says it sounds good. All right, perfect. So I got my phone here. I can keep up with the chat. All right. Welcome there, Long and William. Hey, William, welcome, brother. Appreciate you being here, man. All right. So actually, hey, Chris, welcome to the stream. All right. So actually, in this video, we're going to cover actually something here. William in the chat actually showed me there's an interview out on the Sequire Spotlight, and I figured instead of doing the video, we're going to watch this together. And awesome, notifications are working. All right, perfect. Yeah, so William down there in the chat, part of the Facebook group, go check him out, sent me this link last night to this YouTube channel that has interviews with companies, and they have one of Metamaterials. So as we're waiting for people to get in here to the stream, there's where I made my thumbnail. All right, so first I want to say if you're new here, go follow me on Twitter at TerryZ247, the official one. We're over 1,200 followers now, so I want to thank you all for that. That is truly amazing. All right, and I think if I refresh this, it'll show my live here. There we go. Shows the live. We got 19 people watching. Thank you all very much. So yeah, go follow me here on Twitter at TerryZ247. And we're going to go take a quick look here at the Fintel information as we give a little bit more time for people to hop in. All right. So it looks like here we got still shares outstanding, 281 million shares. Our ownership accumulation score is a 94.77, ranked 307 out of 23,000 stocks. Let's see here. William says, definitely a good interview. Longer you watch, the better it gets. Awesome. That is what we want to hear. Randy Drew says, Meta needs to do some big moves. We do, and I believe they're coming. It's just a matter of, as I say, patience. You know, good things come to those who wait. I know we've been waiting a little long because, you know, we're sitting here watching other plays go high flying, and our play hasn't yet. So yes, we are waiting on that. Let's go here and take a look at the short interest. Short squeeze score is a 73.40, ranked 507 out of 5,400 stocks. Short shares that are available is 750,000. Hey, our fee did go back up. That's a little bit of good news. How many shorts are out right now? 750,000 shares are available at this leading prime brokerage. The short bar fee rate is 2.23. So that is pretty nice to see that back up into twos. I'd like that to keep going up. Look at this here. The short volume ratio yesterday, though, was on the 10th yesterday, a 59.16. On today, the 11th, is a 51.11. Let's see. Wow, the combined short volume ratio on the 10th yesterday was a 62.69. Wow. Needs to be above 3. Yeah, we do. I'm happy we're getting back to the 2s, actually. All right, down here is showing the short interest daily Fintel short interest percent of floats of 14.71. And we scroll down here and look. This updated back on the settlement date of the 29th, publication date of the 9th. Still saying the 14.71. But yeah, if we go back up here, a couple interesting things you can see. Short interest of shares is showing around 20 or so million here. And if we, let me delete this here. I don't know why that's still there. We go. I wanted to show you the insiders. You go to insider trades. Guys, the insiders make up over 75% of the float. Our shares outstanding is 281 million and some odd shares. Insiders hold 213 million. That means there's less than 25% is less left for us retail investors and the big institutional buyers. And as you can see down here, we have BlackRock the other day, has a total of almost 14 million shares. You got this Alliance here, 200 some thousand. There is a lot of people here with a lot of shares. Now, we don't know if these people are getting shares and lending them out, but that is possible. What do you think our price per share would be after divvy? Steven, I think that really depends on what the dividend is. That's what I'm thinking. If the dividend is good, I think we have a good opportunity for some, amazing things to happen. So I think that for me is going to be if the dividend, people's hoping at least $3 to $5, but I mean, there's a lot of hope it'll be more. I think honestly, higher the dividend, the higher Metamaterials price is going to be. Hey there, Steve. Welcome to the stream, buddy. Just picked up 3K more shares today, trying to grab another 1,300. Awesome. Hoping of above $1 or more. Yes, Randy, I hope so as well. I was buying the MMTLP on Fidelity, and my average cost is $1.01 on my current MMTLP shares. So I would like them to be above that because right now it's trading like $1.60. So I would be a little upset if I didn't sell them at $1.60 and we come in like $1.25. But yeah, I think it's kind of worth the gamble. All right, so we got this 21-minute interview here. The Sequire Spotlight presents Metamaterials, guys. We're going to go to this interview. We're going to watch it. We're going to pause it. And we're going to talk about everything we like in this interview here. So thank you all for joining. Let's go ahead and get this interview started. Yes, Steve, thank you for joining, man. I appreciate it, brother. All right, so here we go, guys. We go back here to the beginning. All right, here we go. Oh, and I get the advertisement. No, I don't want that one. Here we go. Everything, yeah. Holding 1,500
Hi,
shares
this
at
is Carmel
$3.51.
Fisher, and we're at the 14th edition of the LD Micro Conference here in Bel Air, California. With me is Metamaterials Inc. President and CFO, Mr. Ken Rice. The ticker for Metamaterials is MMAT. Welcome, Mr. Rice.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Are you enjoying the conference so far?
So far.
All right, real quick before we get this started here, how does that volume sound of me playing this video? Is the volume good? Give me a thumbs up. Leave me something in the comments that the audio sounds good. The picture looks good. I think we're good to go. Audio and video good, guys. I don't want to keep going in the interview if it ain't great, but I got the volume turned up. Long says we're good. Perfect. That's exactly what I want to hear. I do want to say that I have not watched this whole interview yet. So this is all going to be new to me as I'm watching this with you guys. I have watched clips that people have put out on Twitter and things like that, but I have not watched the whole thing yet. So thank you, everyone, for confirming it's good. Let's get to it.
Far so good. Just to get straight into it, will you please give us a brief overview of Metamaterials?
Okay, Metamaterials is a public company on NASDAQ, as you mentioned. We focus on producing functional films that have nano patterns on them that cause light, radio waves, electromagnetic waves, and other forms of energy to behave differently than they do in nature. So if you've heard of the Cloak of Invisibility in Harry Potter, we can replicate that.
No way.
Yes.
Tell me more, please.
So what we're able to do is, if you look at over history, the changes in science and technology have usually been driven by material science. So I talk to people about, we didn't leave the Stone Age because we ran out of stones. We left the Stone Age because somebody discovered bronze and found out that it would make better tools and weapons than rocks. Well, if we look at what's happened over the last 50 years or so, we've gone from computer systems that would take out whole rooms to now things that can sit like your tablet and do a lot more with a lot less space. In fact, there's a series of rules called Moore's Law. It says the more and more and more things you can shrink, the faster and more production you can get out of stuff. And we're now in an age of what we describe as invisible materials. And what our materials do is we can take at a nanoscale, very, very small scale, put patterns on plastics or glass or other things. And when a light wave hits one of our products, it can reflect in a different way. It can filter. So, for example, if you're an airline pilot and you're flying your plane and somebody aims a laser in your face, that laser is oftentimes green laser. And we make glasses for pilots that have a metafilm applied to them, and it reflects the green laser light, keeps the pilot safe, but doesn't change his visibility in any of the other color spectrums. Everything else looks exactly the same, but it keeps the laser light away from his eyes. We call that META-Air. It's our first product. We made it in the for the aerospace industry. So our focus is on applying these patterns to these functional films, and then working with our customers to identify applications that are important to them. And so one could look at this as being driven by a number of megatrends in the industry. I'm sure you're familiar with 5G telephones, except if you have one now, it's probably 4G,
Right.
even though they say it's 5G. And the reason for that is actually pretty basic. 5G signals at their optimum are very, very high frequency, like millimeter waves. And the challenge that the industry faces today is when those signals are broadcast, they're usually absorbed by the first thing they hit. They don't actually get through the buildings or through the glass, except at very low frequency. So if you have 28 gigahertz of broadcast, by the time it gets into the building, it might be a third of that, which means you're at 4G or maybe even 3G plus.
Right.
So the promise of 5G isn't being met today, and the only way to meet it today is with more and more broadcast stations. That takes power, and they're ugly. So if you think
Right.
about, so what our technology does in that indication is we can take a fully transparent piece of film. It looks just like clear plastic, but it's very flexible. Mm-hmm. That film has a pattern on it that will see the 5G signal and reflect it down. So it can, when it hits the building, it gets reflected down to the street, and you walking on the street can pick up the signal on your cell phone. Or if it hits a window and you want it to actually come into the space, our film can also, with a different pattern, act like a booster antenna and allow the signal to get through. And it's all passive and completely transparent. So it doesn't
Right.
affect the look and feel of the building. Well, that application alone is probably worth $3 to $5 billion a year.
Whoa. That's the first thing. We got a lot there to cover. We went about 25% of this interview, and we're 5 minutes into it. I do want to say William made a comment down here. He is the one that showed me about this interview and found it. And he did say it's kind of interesting. If you saw the video I did last night on YouTube, it was where it was that Ethiopian Stock Trades YouTube channel posted that video at the AWE event, and they were interviewing Ken Rice. Well, during that interview, you could tell he was in a rush to kind of get out of the interview. So during that interview you saw that I posted yesterday, you're going to see that Ken said when it was open for questions, they had 1 minute. And it's because he had to go to this interview, I believe, because he was at the AWE. They already had people, there to kind of talk about the products. He had this interview lined up. That's my belief, and why he had to leave the AWE event and go to this interview here with Sequire Spotlight. So yes, there you can hear it. The film is going to be like $3 to $5 billion a year. Now, I think 2022 is going to be exciting. Like I said, and Williams here saying it gets better. Steve saying it's money. Luke saying let's effing go, which I agree. Welcome in all the other people that joined in the live stream here. Welcome everyone. We're going over this interview here that's about 20 minutes long with Ken Rice and the Sequire. So let's get back to the interview.
We're working with a very large chemical company in Japan called Sequire. They approached us about a year ago. This is public information.
Right.
And they said, we want to work with you. We have a very large telecom company in Japan as our customer. And the way they describe it is they basically want to enshroud the whole country of Japan in our film so that everywhere 5G is broadcast, it can get through and into the buildings. We
hate to keep interrupting, but this is so true. At my previous job, you sometimes have trouble getting cell phone service into the building. I was working at a bank, and what do we have in banking? Online banking products, where you have your customers needing to have internet service so they can log into their online banking and show you their concerns or questions that they have on the app. Well, here we see that this film is going to be able to let the connection go through the building. And I've noticed buildings like around hospitals, buildings that have metal roofs, definitely have that issue of letting phone service and signals coming through. So this is going to be amazing that he's saying here that Japan, I think it was Japan or China, but they're going to want to wrap the whole city in this stuff. And that would be just, oh man, this is getting really good. And we're only a couple minutes in, so let's get back to it here.
We have other areas that we work in, for example, in consumer electronics. In your microwave in the kitchen?
Yes.
If you look through the door, it's very hard to see, right? Because all these wires in there.
Right.
The reason those wires are there is not to make it hard for you to see. It's to keep the electromagnetic radiation inside the microwave. Microwaves emit that kind of radiation. So the reason those wires were put in the door in the first place was to retain the EMI. We had the world's largest producer of microwaves come to us about a year ago and say, we want you guys to make us a completely transparent door that still keeps the EMI inside the microwave. And we said, okay, fine. So we built this film, different pattern. In this case, the pattern's on the inside, and it reflects the signal back into the microwave.
Right.
And not only did we make the door completely transparent, but we also doubled the retention of EMI inside the microwave.
Wow.
And this company that we're working with makes 40 million microwaves a year.
Incredible.
So,
can you speak more about the technology involved with that?
Yeah. So it's hard to do without a picture, but if you think about what we do, we etch patterns onto the surface of plastic. So if you want a lightweight...
All right, so here it says earnings will be interesting. Yes, they will be. Can we say Samsung? That's a good question. 40 million microwaves a year. 40 million microwaves a year. I'm going to have to do some research on that, or unless one of you guys can pull up Google and type in who makes 40 million microwaves a year. Welcome, GG. Better late than never, brother. You can always get back and watch the replay of this live stream, but we got a lot of great information
wave to reflect. You basically make a shape on the surface of the plastic, so when the light hits it, it refracts differently. It reflects differently. There's a phenomenon in nature. I forget the name of the. I think it's a special butterfly that has the most incredibly gorgeous blue wings. Except there are no pigments in the wings.
Oh.
There's no color at all in the wings of this butterfly. If you look at those butterfly wings under an electron microscope, you'll see these nano patterns. And it's those patterns that cause the light to bounce around differently and create the colors. So we just bought a company, actually 3 weeks ago now, called Nanotech Security. And Nanotech is in the business of producing highly specialized nano patterns on films that provide security to banknotes and to upscale brands. And on the banknote security side, they have those little strips that you see on the banknotes that if you twist them, you can
Right.
see a shape or a color or a change.
Right.
Again, no ink. This is all done using patterns. In their case, it's multiple billions of holes that reflect the light a certain way. And they're all designed by a computer. So the technology that we have at the core is an understanding of how to design those patterns and optimize them such that the material does what we want it to do. What's also important, however, is if you look at your cell phone today, the screen on your cell phone is conductive. It picks up your fingers, it does. It's also made out of something called indium tin oxide as a coating. ITO is a rare earth metal. It's scarce, it's extremely expensive,
Right.
can only source it in Asia, and it's brittle. So one of the reasons Samsung's first foldable phone didn't work was because of the ITO.
Right.
You folded it enough, it broke.
Huh.
And our material doesn't use any rare earth metals. It uses copper or aluminum or silver
Right.
or those kinds of things. They're done on plastics that are very, very, very malleable. We use about a tenth of the thickness of what's required for ITO today. And so the technology all came from, one way to think about it, it's all physics. And we have a lot of really smart engineers in our company that understand the physics of light and radio waves and electromagnetic waves. And what made me join the company I joined in December, was that we're also working in the medical field.
Well, okay. Tell
And
us more.
we have a couple areas that we work in. We work in imaging, we work in wireless sensing. In the imaging space, I spent a lot of my life doing diagnostic imaging and central nervous system disorders and cardiovascular things. And so when I found out first about Meta, I was very excited by what we were doing in the imaging space because we have, using our films, we can cause a magnetic resonance image machine, MRI, to work at up to 40 times better performance than what you can see today with the technology. And we do that by applying our film to a special device that if you're a patient, you put this device under your back and it modulates the frequency so that you get 40x, up to 40x, the improvement in signal. And you don't need to use a bigger magnet. You don't need to spend a lot of time in the machine. So we can take a scan that would today require an hour and a half, and do it in 10 or 15 minutes with resolution that's never been seen before.
Incredible.
It's
and
just
groundbreaking,
really amazing,
sounds
yeah.
like it too.
We worked in breast cancer. In fact, the company was founded by our CEO to do non-ionizing radiation breast cancer screening. It uses microwaves to look at tissue, and what it does is it allows us to enable women that are in their 20s to get scanned very quickly, easily, safely,
Right.
establish a baseline
Accurately.
and accurately, and track it over time
Right.
with no ionizing radiation. And again, it's one of these tools that if we see something in our scan that looks questionable, then we can say, go get a confirming scan, but you're only going to do that when you need to,
Right.
as opposed to using it as a prophylactic. We also have the capability using that same technology to differentially diagnose strokes. So if somebody has an ischemic stroke, that can be treated, if it's discovered quickly enough, with a drug called TPA. But if you give a hemorrhagic stroke victim TPA, you can hurt them very badly. And so we have technology that we're developing that can be used in the ambulance to maximize this magic 3-hour window that TPA has to get on board with stroke. So those were the things that really were exciting to me on the diagnostic side. And then the other thing we do, which is really, really exciting, is we have technology in development now for completely non-invasive glucose monitoring. So we can monitor in type 2 diabetics, type 1 diabetics, and pre-diabetic people with no needles. So if we look at what's out there today, there's products from Abbott like Freestyle Libre and Dexcom. They are minimally invasive, but they still have needles.
Right.
Ours are needleless. It takes advantage of the fact that we apply our Meta film to the device, and it makes the skin invisible to the device. It doesn't hurt us, but it modulates the frequency and allows both infrared light and radio waves to get directly through the skin into the interstitial fluid in the body and find the glucose.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, moving on to more of a corporate discussion. Can you touch some light on your two new leaders appointed within the company?
We've in the last 8 months, we've actually grown almost a complete C-suite.
Wonderful.
George Palikaris is our CEO and founder. Just a wonderful guy, really, really clever. And when I joined in December of last year, he was actually really lonely. He didn't have a lot of direct reports that were able to leverage his time and offload some of his work. We've added since then. I joined in December. Dr. Jonathan Waldron joined at the same time as our Chief Technical Officer. Scott Richards joined as our Chief Marketing Officer. And we have Gardner Wade has joined as our Chief Product Officer. So we built out a C-suite in part to account for the fact that we are now a very different company than we were a year ago. When I joined in December, the market value of Meta was $30 million Canadian. Today it's 1.6 billion US. That's a very different world, a different kind of company to run. So we're very excited about the new people, and we're not done.
Fantastic. Well, we'll be keeping our eye out on that. Give us a quick history on, as you mentioned, the change in the corporation, what you're growing towards, and also how the stock is affected.
Okay. Well, Meta, like most companies of our stage and size, we went public for the first time in Canada in March of 2020. We did that via a reverse triangular reorg with a company that was a shell in Canada. The goal was to get public on the Canadian Stock Exchange and then very rapidly migrate to NASDAQ. And then COVID came. So things slowed down a little.
Right.
So in the fall of last year, we were approached by a number of entities, actually, but the most aggressive of them in terms of opportunity and timing was a group called Torchlight Energy Resources. Torchlight was a company in Texas.
Before he gets into there, I wanted to talk a little bit. Let's see, we got a couple things here in the post. Chris said we should rename the stock IGWT. And if you don't know what that is, in George we trust. That's right. He says we should rename the stock in George we trust. So I love it. Yes, Roy, we got Medea is the 40 million microwaves a year. Yes, that is amazing. Carlos, any theories on what's going to happen next week? I'm kind of waiting on the earnings. That's kind of what I'm waiting for, is the actual earnings to come out. Now, I don't know when that's going to be, but hopefully here soon. And I think, as we know, Wall Street and a lot of other big money want to see earnings on the company, and they want to see multiple quarters where they keep growing earnings. So that's my theory on that. When his earnings come out, I think we may get some more answers. Let's see. All right. When was this interview? This interview was actually done yesterday, November 10th. This YouTube channel here posted it. The Sequire. They only have 305 subscribers. And yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Roy says this was done at the AWE. I'm not sure if this was done at the AWE. I'm not 100% aware of that, if the Sequire Spotlights was at the AWE, because it doesn't have anything AWE listed in this. But I know Ken was at the AWE, and he did leave only after a couple minutes of speaking. But this could have been done at the AWE, but it says it's by SRAX, SRAX. But anyway, Sequire, I'm not sure, like I said, if they were at that event. Never heard of Medea, but I've seen Samsung microwave. Yeah, I personally have not heard of Medea, but I'm sure it's probably huge to make 40 million microwaves a year. But we've seen Samsung microwaves. And actually, speaking of Samsung, I have the Samsung Galaxy phone, and I actually had to get a new washer and dryer. And guess what? It's a Samsung washer and dryer. They're a smart washer and dryer. And I must say, it is pretty darn fancy. It has a lot of technology on the washer and dryer. My actual 65-inch TV, 4K, is a Samsung TV as well. So, yeah, I have a lot of Samsung products, from the phone to my TV to my washer and dryer Samsung. So, yes, we got a couple minutes left of this interview, so let's get back here to it, and we'll come back and go over anyone's comments. Thank you, everyone that's joining in. We got a beautiful, it says 69 viewers here on my chat. That's pretty amazing. All right.
That was in the oil and gas business at a time when nobody wanted to be in the oil and gas business anymore because they had watched oil drop. But what they had was fairly strong investors. They also had a NASDAQ listing that was clean. And so we negotiated with them a reverse merger that did two things. This is in our disclosures, but what we did was we negotiated a transaction that resulted in the Metamaterials shareholders owning about 75% of the combined company post-merger, and the Torchlight shareholders owning 25% plus one other thing, which was the rights to receive whatever proceeds there were from the oil and gas assets that were still on their books at the time we closed. Those assets are still there. The plan is to either sell them or spin them out by the end of this year, at which point Meta will be completely focused on our main mission, which is the manufacture and distribution of metamaterials using sustainable materials, and will be a green company as a result. We have operations in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Pleasanton, up the coast a little, here, London, England, and we're opening a new facility in Athens in Greece, and we have satellite facilities in Boston, and now with the NTS acquisition that we just did, we're also in Vancouver and Thurso, Quebec.
Wonderful. So you touched on COVID and the impact that it had on, the changes on a corporate level. What challenges did you guys face in terms of business operations?
Great question. We the challenges we faced, being in Nova Scotia, was actually a good thing. Nova Scotia was there were 3 or 4 geographies in the world that were considered uber safe.
Right.
Nova Scotia was one of them. So we didn't have so much from a physical operation standpoint with COVID. We did a lot of things to protect our people, and we continue to do that. The biggest impact we saw and continue to see is in our supply chain. And that's a global issue, not just a Canadian issue. Our business requires that we order and install fairly complex pieces of equipment. We use a lot of lasers in our business. We use a lot of things that are high technology, rely a lot on computer chips, for example, and there's a global shortage of a lot of those things. So what we found, and we're just now starting to see a little bit more consistency and stability in that channel, but for a long time we couldn't predict when our vendors could supply to us. And that makes it really challenging to plan, especially in a business that tends to run fairly tightly.
100%. All right, so a few closing remarks and perhaps touching on some growth strategies for our viewers and potential investors. What do you want them to take away from this?
Well, I'd like them to understand that we are very much an emerging growth company where our story is changing almost every hour. We're not done doing what we're doing. We intend to grow into our market cap. Our revenues don't match our market cap today,
They do.
but they will, and we're going to do that both organically and acquisitively.
Right.
We have an assembled group of people in our company that is really unrivaled. We have some really, really smart scientists, a lot of very good manufacturing people, especially with the NTS acquisition.
Right.
We as of now, we have 120 people in the company. What we're proud of, aside from the technology base we have, is that across that 120 people, we have 23 languages spoken in the company.
Wow.
We have almost, I think our engineering mix is just about 50-50 men to women, which
Great.
is remarkable. We're a green company, and we intend to grow the business quite a bit beyond where we are today.
Fantastic. Again, this was Mr. Ken Rice from Metamaterials Inc. with the ticker NMAT. I'm Carmel Fisher, and you're watching Sequire Spotlight.
All right, so there is the interview. We'll get in here to some questions and all that. Let me get the volume back down here. All right. And back to here. All right, let's get back to some of these comments here we got. Let's see. Doku says anything that has a touch screen is a potential boom for Meta. Absolutely. Where was it at here? All right, let's see here. Lee says I'm heavy EV, but short-term drill, baby drill. I want to hire Divi. Absolutely. Doku here says, don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button. Leave a comment down below after this uploads, because all your likes, all your comments help out the algorithms. Royce says he's seen a lot here in Canada, other appliances too. And this one made me laugh. I was watching an interview. Andy says, when do I get a bathroom mirror that doesn't fog? He's like, yes, that is so true. It's never annoying, as you can see. I actually need to shave here a little bit. And after you get a nice hot shower, you get out of the bathroom, you open up your shower curtain, and what happens? It like fills up your mirror, even with the exhaust fan running. If you like a nice hot shower, your mirror will fog up. That would be pretty amazing. You know, just think of all the millions and millions and millions of homes that product alone, something you could put over your bathroom mirror so it doesn't fog, so you can still shave while your face is hot, because you get the cleanest shave when your face is hot, your pores are open, and you don't want to cut yourself, and you got to wipe it, then it's all smearing and smudgy. You guys know what I'm talking about. So anyway, let's see. Lee says that my 3 unsellable stocks, Lucid, SoFi, and Meta. Yes, that is some amazing picks. Doku says, that's another market I didn't even think of. That is true. Lee says, good stuff. Roy says, Divi, 17 to 35. I'll tell you what, if that dividend is $17, woo, I'm going to be super excited. I know a lot of us are going to be excited that Divi is $17. That will get me a lot of Metamaterials shares, even be able to put some money back on the side if we get a $17 Divi. Yeah, I hope so. All right. William says, how you like those apples? William, I love those apples, actually. Thank you, Luke, man. Yes. Randy, hope they don't let China steal their technology. That is a good point. We do not want China to steal our technology, because we're going to be apparently partnering up with Japan, because they said they want to wrap their whole freaking city, the whole country in this film. And I agree, because you need cell phone service. And like I said, at my previous job, your phone would not work in the building. You had like one bar if you're lucky. And it's a very big inconvenience. All right. Lee says, Andy, that would be amazing. Andy says, yes, I would love it to be steamy, you would like our showers and stuff to be steamy, but we need to see the mirror. Yes. Is BBIG going to be a part of Meta? I never thought of that. I wouldn't think BBIG's going to be a part of Meta, but I haven't thought about that. That's a good point there, Brian. Steve, how about shower glass that dries itself? That is very interesting as well, because you got to think about people that have those showers with the sliding doors. You got the new showers that have the glass doors, the glass walls. If you could put that on there and it doesn't steam up, that would be pretty amazing as well. Chris says put Rain-X on it, it won't fog. Wow. Big brain, yes. Right, I got to do hair after my show. Yes, exactly. Chris is laughing. Lee's laughing at Chris. Luke V, everything is a part of Meta. That is true. The more there from that interview with Ken Rice, yeah, as we've seen, guys. I never even thought about microwaves. You got in here, you know, we talked about bathroom mirrors. There's just so many applications. I was not aware that we're going to be possibly wrapping the entire country and you know, stuff there in Japan. That is pretty amazing. Let's see. Doku, getting my EPD dividend tomorrow, and if the shorts are still dragging us, I'm hoping I can get another 1,500 shares short term. Andy, every day there's something new Meta can improve. Let's see. Hooked on Jeepin Production says if you have anti-fog glass, imagine you could have 3D holographic imaging in the bathroom too. That is very true. That is possible. All right, William, better tweet George on the mirror. Get the patent if we don't have it already. Yeah, I think I'll have to get off when I'm done this stream. We're gonna have to shoot George a tweet about the anti-fog mirror for the bathroom. That is a good one there that came up here in the chat. Let's see. That would be a cool shower in a jungle environment. Yes, it would. Chris, can we buy MMTLP on Webull? I believe you cannot buy MMTLP on Webull. I do know you can buy MMTLP on Fidelity. And I believe you still can buy them on Fidelity because it still has all my shares on there. And I do try to buy just 25 or 50 every so often just to keep accumulating up and averaging in my price. All right. Doku says $17 on 755. Yeah, that would be damn. Yes, it would be. That would be an amazing dividend if we get $17. JD, my man, welcome, buddy. Evening from PA. Yes, JD, welcome, man. Been a long time, brother. Lee, anything over 10 on the divvy, I'm gonna be walking around pitching a 10. Lee, I'm right there with you. $10, I think we're all gonna be pitching a 10. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of tents being pitched if we get a $10 divvy. That honestly, I think if it's a $10 divvy, that could be life changing for a lot of people. I know a lot of people have 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 of these shares, MMTLP, and if it's a $10 divvy, that is just that would be truly amazing. That would be whoa. All right, John says, keep up the good work. May God bless you and your family. MMAT to the moon. Thank you, John. I appreciate that, brother. Let's see. Japan makes quality ATVs. Yeah, I'm sure that China and Japan always makes the quality. Well, maybe not China, but they make them affordable, and Japan maybe makes them better quality. Let's see. Dan Johnson, sorry late. Did he say anything about MMTLP? No, he did not talk anything about a dividend, nothing about the preferred shares, nothing about that, but he had a lot of great information. Go back and watch that video. It was pretty amazing. A lot of great information in there. All right. Andy says, the microwaves was what caught me off guard, and I love it. Need to make sure I'm not blowing up my frozen burrito. That's true. And then you also know you make your cup of noodles. You don't want your, your water to boil over the top and go over your microwave. So it'd be nice to have that clear lens for your microwave as well. William, just glad this video came to light on your channel, buddy. Welcome. Definitely enjoyed the feeling of what. Yes, William, man. Thank you for sharing it to me. Like I said, there's a lot going on, with work, things around your personal life, and more you guys can share stuff with me and get me the information, then I have time to review it, then I can put it here on the channel. It helps out a lot. Like I said, it's hard for, one set of eyes to catch everything. The more eyes we have in the metaverse, and that can get me the information, we can put it out here on the channel. Doku says, yes, there's same amount of possibilities for MMAT, especially to manipulate radiation. I can't imagine where we're going to be in 5 years. Yes. And he says, yes, do it. Whoop. Yes, that's where we're going to be. Randy says you can also buy MMTLP on Charles Schwab as well. 40 million at $10. That's 400 million a year. Yeah. Weeble don't do OTC. Can just call Weeble, can manually push the first. Well, that's very interesting, Brant. I'm not sure if that's true, but yeah, if you're saying you can call Weeble and they'll do it for you, give them a call, see what they tell you. Probably no divvy just to spin off to Oilco. I don't know about that, Dustin. Doku says he just tweeted George. Yes. Roy says the Oilco is remainder of 10%, the allotted for expenses. I do believe that is right. All right, so here we go. Spillover from the 10%. Yes, I do agree. I think that's it as well. Yeah, so I think we got caught up there on all the comments. I do want to say thank you for everyone that came here for the live stream, actually. I just thought it'd be easier to do a live stream. That way, you know, we could just watch it together, go over it together. I think it's just a heck of a lot easier. Yeah, the stock down here at this price, man, is pretty amazing. Where we finish up at 475 in the after hours. Let's just go take a quick look here and see if we have any updates on the overview of Metamaterials real quick. Thank you everyone that's still here watching this. Justin, I did get your email. I will check the email, buddy, after this live stream is over. I will definitely take a look at see how I could do that. There's only one person selling MMTLP and will push through calls. Yeah, very interesting. All right, so our momentum's a 98.05. Pretty awesome. Ownership accumulation still 94.77. Hey, Randy, that's the same question I got. Anyone? What's Randy's question? I have a question. Has anyone know anything about OGEN? I've been looking, but hard to find information. I think it's OCGN. I think it's OCHEN. Let me see if I can type that in here for you guys. Let me go to the short interest here real quick. What are we looking for in that stock? OCGN, I think is what it's called. Looks like all this is still the same. Yeah, nothing's just changed down here. We haven't got that information. Hey, welcome, Gil. All right, so let's see here. I think it's what's going on with the dividend. Right now, there is nothing official with the dividend. I think it's OCGN. Yeah, let's do the short interest. Let's take a look at what they got here. Here we go. It doesn't have anything. What is this stock? OCGN. Doesn't have me anything. What's on the overview? Vaccine stock, but there's a separate stock. No, this OGEN. Is that the one we're looking at? Because, yeah, this don't have anything on it, really. All right, so we need to look at OGEN. Short. See what we find here, guys. OGEN short. Shiba Army. Yes, I do have a little exposure to cryptocurrencies, guys. I do have Shiba Inu and I do have Dogecoin. Yes, I do have Shiba and I do have Doge. All right, so OGEN. All right, let's see here what it says. Short squeeze score is a 66.23. Ranked 1194 out of 5,400 stocks. Pump and dump stock. All right. 1.4 million shares. 6% fee on the short. That's pretty high. They did short 40-some% of the free float. Let's go take a look at the owners. How many outstanding shares? So the outstanding shares is 116 million shares. Institutionals hold about 9.5. How many does the insiders hold? Insiders only hold about 5.1 million. So they don't really hold a lot. So yeah, it would take a lot for this one to move. If we go look at Metamaterials on this, on the insiders, you can see Metamaterials has a lot of, they're 75% insider accumulation. So that means the insiders know what they got with Metamaterials, guys. They definitely know what they got. I do want to say thank you to everyone that has sent me notifications here. on Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter. Let me refresh this, see if we got any new follow. We're almost at 1,230. I need one more follower. So if you're not following me, go follow me here on Twitter, and we will get that follow there. I do got to go check out the email that Justin sent me, and I do want to thank all y'all for tuning in for this live stream. And I will catch you guys. Let's see, here we go. All right, and I will catch you guys in the next video.